What up? It's Golden Spaces, an Odyssey original podcast with Justin and Nat. I'm your girl, Nat. That is Justin. And the Doves, they gave us a tight one tonight. And I'm just not at the point in the season yet where I need this kind of stress in my life, you know? I'm not over. It's first of all, I don't even want to say it's triggering because I know last season was fake, but I'm dealing with too much turmoil in other areas of my life for this to be something where I have to have bits of stress. So I need them to cut it out. Okay. But they get the win. They get the win. And it's a good win because you got to win ugly games and demonstrate that you have the ability to do that. And that's what they should have done in game one, and they didn't. And they found a way tonight. One of the things I really liked tonight was at the end when they were down 3 that they did not go for threes to try to win. Like, I literally tweeted that. I was like, oh, praise Jesus. Because again, we know Klay, Steph, we know they can hit those shots. But it's like they weren't falling like that tonight. And the Kings, they can't stop y'all inside. They can't really stop anything. So, whether it's Klay with a mid-range to ends it or, whoever driving, just you don't need the 3. And I was happy to see that they didn't. They just kept attacking. They get 2, they would go down 1. It was like, just get the stop. Just get a stop. I know y'all can get a stop. And it was clear. Kerr realized they needed to go defense. He brought GP2 in, so those were all things that I enjoyed seeing. The other thing I really liked seeing was when, like, shortly before Moody was subbed out, like, him and Dre had like a disconnect on a play, and like Dre got really, really, I shouldn't say really, really worked up, but Dre got normal Dre worked up about it. But I just like that I saw that because it's showing you they care, It's game 5 of the season. And, last year it was a lot of, we'll be all right. Well, just, it was just a different kind of energy, and whether they were just trying to project confidence because things were so fractured internally, it's still good to see that they care and that they're passionate and that kind of thing. So all of those were just, some of my initial just reactions to what I saw. There's not much to take away in a game like this because they're just not going to shoot that poorly from 3. You're not gonna have many low scoring games from stuff like this. I'm sure there's already gonna be some silly people to be like, look, they figured him out, or that, like, Steph has seen defenses like this before, and particularly over a course of a series, it will never work. So they just the anybody but Steph game, Mike Brown knows you might get some, effectiveness from it. So he tried it, and it worked a little bit tonight. Steph wasn't able to get into a rhythm, but I don't really take much from that. So I am curious, though, Justin, to hear from you in terms of what do you think about their defensive strategy against Steph? Like, why was it giving him such problems?
I think he himself was just a little bit off today. He had 7 turnovers. A lot of them were just dribbling into areas where he was covered. They swiped at the ball, played extra aggressive. I think it was just one of those games where, mentally he just wasn't like in that mode to be at the tip top of his game. And, Kerr said before the game, trap game. I think Steph kind of played it like it was a trap game, almost like he's like, oh, D Fox ain't playing. Like, it's the Canes. We're going to cook them. Like, we're going to kill them. And then they were just playing way harder than the Warriors,
Yeah,
and
they're
then
also
once you
coming
kind of
off loss, so
yeah, and once you kind of get into that mode, it's hard to snap out of it like mid game. Like you can give your effort on defense and stuff like that, but at least offensively, it's just kind of hard to flip that switch. But scoring wise, he was moderately efficient. Like he was 7 for 15, which is pretty good. 4 for 10 from 3, 40%. He just didn't get a ton of attempts up, and he had a ton of turnovers. So that's why, I mean, he looked pretty pedestrian by his standards. And I mean, the team
Right.
as a whole, pretty
-6.
mid. Yeah.
Klay
Yeah. So,
Thompson was the only, positive of the starters, +10.
yep. Yeah. Looney was just a zero, like a neutral.
Mhm.
But yeah, the bench helped him, carried him over the top again. And I think, that's an encouraging sign because, eventually the starters are going to play up to their standard, right?
Mhm.
Draymond's getting in shape, Wiggins is getting his legs under him, Clay is getting his shooting rhythm, under him, and Steph is going to be Steph regardless. Like he may have an off game like tonight, but he's going to be Steph regardless. And
Mm.
eventually they're going to start racking up a bunch of wins where they're just blowing teams out because their starters and their bench are just beating the other team. So
Clicking.
mhm.
Decent game, from Wicks tonight.
Yeah,
Like we said last time, he built off of the last game. Solid game from him.
for sure. I mean, he's upped his aggressiveness ever since the first game, right? The first game
Still would
was,
like
was
more
terrible.
rebounds.
Right.
I still want more rebounds from him.
Yeah, I think he gave up a rebound at some point to Harrison, like just missed the box out or something. But
Yeah, I tweeted like, "No, Wiggs, that's a rebound you got to grab.
yeah, it almost looked
Gotta
like he
grab
let
that
Harrison
one."
grab it. Yeah. Yeah. So he got to be more aggressive there. I'm not sure. Did he close? I don't think
Harrison
he did.
also helped us out when he missed that shot because.
Harrison. Right. Harrison's funny,
Oh,
man.
I'm like, "There is the Harrison Barnes
I know, right? The first
There you
three
go."
quarters, he was hitting everything, and then we knew when it's time to hit him for real, he ain't hitting them. But Herter got that rebound back, which is annoying. But uh, yeah, I like what I saw from Wiggs as far as aggressiveness as a scorer, aggressiveness on the ball as a defender. He's just been a little bit spacey off the ball, whether it be boxing out for rebounds or tracking his man off the ball. So he just got to get a little bit better with that. But yeah, he's trending upward. I think every game he's been playing a little bit better than the previous game.
Yes, agreed. And speaking of Herder, even though they ended up getting as a putback, maybe I can't even remember. But when Moody tracked him down and didn't let him just get that layup after they got the steal, or I can't remember what the play was off of, but like
Steph
they
turnover.
still ended up scoring on that possession, but he did not let him get that easy bucket. Like,
Hmm.
and I love that. I was like, Moses.
Hmm.
So
And
just
that's
lots of things I like that I saw, despite it being like a just back and forth game, and largely they allowed the Kings to be in the game with their turnovers.
for sure. For
How
sure.
many points off turnovers did the Kings get?
It's a good question. Let me try to points off turnovers. It was about even. They had 20 and the Warriors had 18. Um, so yeah, I mean the Kings made 5 more free throws, shot 8 more. That's what happens when you're giving up offensive rebounds. They get multiple attempts at it. You got to swipe at the ball. You give up fouls and stuff like that. So that's kind of where they lost. Well, not lost the game, but that's where they made the game super close. Just Kings just had way more possessions than the Warriors did. They shot 7 more shots and shot 8 more free throws. That's just you give a team that many more attempts at scoring points, then the score is going to be closer than it should be.
Mm, well, like I said, they gotta win. They gotta win in a game that was sort of ugly, and I'm happy for it. Low scoring game for them.
Their defense is holding steady. Like that's
Yeah.
been the one constant. And coming into the season, I knew that was going to be the case. Now their offensive ceiling, got to see it, because Steph is Steph, but outside of Steph, there's not a ton of on-ball creation that can also score at a high clip. That's what Jordan brought to the table. But they've strengthened all the other areas that they needed to, right? Like just taking care of the ball outside of Steph, more athleticism, more rim pressure and stuff like that. But they don't have that high level, offensive talent outside of Steph on this roster that can just establish a really high offensive floor. So they're
Mhm.
just essentially at the mercy of their shot making, right? Like, are Clay and Moody making jumpers today? Is Wiggin making his jumpers today? is Steph making his jumpers today? So um, that's just something to monitor over the course of the season. Like, how is their offense going to operate? I think their defense is going to be consistently top tier all year, but they haven't really had a crazy offensive game. I mean, they scored 130 on the Pelicans, but outside of that, it's been pretty low scoring games for them.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually have much more to say about this game. Do you, Justin?
No, I mean, it's a good win in the sense, like you said, of grinding something out. Ball's not really falling for you. You're not getting a ton of rebounds. Still find a way to get it done at the end. I'm sure it was a great confidence booster for Klay Thompson to get that game winner on his belt, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it was a confidence booster for his teammates looking to him. And I think it was just a good feel good win because it was just kind of like a blah game the whole time, and then you end on a high note like that, especially at home. Hopefully they take that momentum and just this next little road trip they use it and kind of get out of that quicksand they were just in tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Wow. Why don't we move on? I'm here looking at standings and stuff and seeing how things are playing out. Oh, okay. I'm not watching the Lakers game, but it's a 3-point game with 15 seconds left. I don't know who got the
Oh,
ball.
2 point game from what I see.
Lakers foul PG on a three. Oh, he's shooting three. Our producer is giving us updates. Is he shooting three, Greg?
Yeah, he is. He made two.
Let's go, PG.
This is kind of like a win-win for Golden State, I think, in my opinion. I mean, the Clippers would tie the Warriors 4-1 if they win, and you know if the Lakers win, then obviously the Clippers get their second loss, and they are not anywhere near the Warriors anymore. But the Warriors are now second in standings behind the Dallas Mavericks, who keep playing bad teams and winning. So eventually they'll play some good teams, and they will drop in the standings. But as of right now, they are 4-0.
It's tied up, 17 seconds left. I want to watch this game.
Right.
All right, Greg, just keep sending us updates, please. I forgot to turn on the game behind me. So our producer will give us updates. We will circle back to this game because I think we should have like a conversation over time. Okay. We should have a conversation about the Western Conference Finals. Not the conference finals, the Western Conference. Once the game is over. So we will come back to that. I think right now, though, Justin, what I want to do is sort of look ahead for the Warriors. So why don't we do that? Cool?
Cool.
All right. I got the game on now so I can check in. It's very weird still to see Bob Myers as like a part of these shows.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny when he does this. Did he do a Warriors game already? He did, right? He did one, but not. I think he was just like in the he wasn't
Like in
like
the studio.
yeah. I didn't realize he was gonna be like a on the sideline person. Did you?
No, I didn't realize that either. Bob's funny. Like he's a charismatic guy, but I don't really see him as a TV guy.
No, but he's been better on this than he was on his podcast. Truthfully,
Yeah.
I didn't listen to the podcast. I just heard the one bad clip from like his first episode. So maybe it improved. But I think having professionals like more established at this to sort of like set him up because they're lobbing him like GM questions and how would he think about this? It's sort of easy to play off of like a Stephen A. Smith. It's actually really important to always have like a strong person when you're doing stuff like this. I don't know that people realize the importance, but just working in live TV now and dealing with different hosts, guests, and seeing how a show ebbs and flows, like sometimes someone can be good, but they really need like a strong person to compliment them and bring it out of them. So it just varies. But it's interesting to see him on there. So shout out to you, Bob Myers. All right. But yes, Justin, you did mention that the Warriors are 4-1. They're going back on the road. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going back on the road, and
Fitz and Killa wouldn't let the audience forget that it's 8 games in 8 cities. They kept asking questions about packing bags and all that type of stuff.
oh my God. And then the other thing that was annoying me was the constant, like, if the Kings pull this off tonight, this would be great. Why are we talking about if the, like, how many? I don't understand. The Warriors are trying to win.
Right. Like, come
They're
on,
trying
bro.
to win.
They're funny.
It was actually
would
really
be a hell of a win for the Kings. Like, bro.
We don't care.
Right.
All right, the Clippers are already up 2. We don't care. We do not care. So, but yeah, so they got 4 more road games. They got OKC, Cleveland, Detroit, and Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any losses ahead, Justin?
I'm never going to book a loss. But Denver, that's a tough one right there.
Fuck Denver. Why do we keep talking? Denver just got blown out tonight. They were in a tight game. Wasn't it with Memphis? Yeah.
I think Memphis, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing with Denver is like that's the third game in 4 nights.
I don't give a fuck.
On the road.
So?
In Denver. It's just going to be a tough game.
What have the Warriors been doing?
Hmm?
Oh, you're talking about for the Warriors. I don't care.
That's
fine.
It is
going to be tough, but I think they're going to get up for that game. I actually do.
I do too.
I think they're going to want to really show like that they are of the caliber of Denver or a better team. So I'm not saying they will win it, but I don't think it. I think it's going to be like. I mean, obviously there's adjusting to the altitude, but I just think they're going to be so locked in for that game.
I feel you. Yeah, I'm not saying they will lose. I'm just saying that's going to be a tough one. The other 3 I'm not necessarily worried about. OKC is a good team for sure. But yeah. I think the Warriors will be ready for that game.
Before you keep going.
Yeah.
Because I'm a little all over the place, but we were just talking about the Nuggets. Mavericks at Nuggets tomorrow, so they'll probably be getting their first loss.
Who the Mavericks? Yeah.
Not tomorrow, as I think it's Friday, because now today's Thursday. It's after midnight, so on Friday. But it's the Mavs in Denver.
Okay.
And Denver is not going to want to get 2 L's in a row.
Definitely not. They got spanked tonight by Minnesota, which is interesting because Minnesota was missing. We
talked about them last year when they played Minnesota without their people.
Yeah. Those people played tonight, and one of them was a +19, the other one was a +4.
Different ball game when everyone's healthy. Right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No, because I'm just tired. Because people are gonna, it's gonna annoy me because if Denver loses, people like the other day when they lost their other loss, it was to the Grizzlies. No, it was to they haven't lost yet.
Mm-hmm.
The game where they struggled against the Grizzlies, and they ended up winning 108-104 versus the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies who were missing John Morant.
Mm-hmm.
Who were missing Steven Adams, those Grizzlies, right? And people just like, oh yeah, Jokic was just, okay, fine. Overlook it, whatever they say. Now tonight, people are gonna make more excuses for them again. Oh, you have bad games. If the Warriors lose a game,
they're cooked. If they win a game, they're cooked.
So it's just like, no, we're going to keep the same fucking energy. That's all I'm saying. Keep the same fucking energy.
People won't. Because
why are you getting blown out by the Timberwolves?
I don't know.
And why are you in games with Memphis?
Memphis 0-5 though. Love to see it.
I can't believe people tried to convince me Memphis would be good this year. And I do understand the Steven Adams loss, but even if Steven Adams was there, they still wasn't going to be great.
Yeah. Nah, without Ja, I'm be curious to see what their record is when Ja gets back. I mean, they're 0-5 now. At best, they're 500 from here on out, and they were 10-15 by the time he gets back. I don't think that's a playoff or play-in team.
No. And everyone was like, they're used to winning without him. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, when they had Steven Adams and Tyus Jones and other Dylan Brooks, who's gone. Like, it's a different team, completely different team now. Chemistry ain't there. You got D Rose playing heavy minutes. Like, respectfully, he's washed. Like,
I know Marcus Smart must be like, they really left me, just spit me off of
meanwhile,
Boston for this
meanwhile,
shit.
the Celtics beating people by 50. And
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's wild. Wild times. So the Mavericks will experience their first loss on Friday. And if they don't, and the Nuggets drop 2 in a row, then we going to have conversations about the Nuggets. So it's a win-win for me either way. Because, if we're keeping it a buck, I don't take the Mavericks seriously. So I don't care what their record says.
Yeah,
they can have a 25-game win streak, and I still won't believe in the Mavericks. Feel me?
I agree. It's looking like the Lakers are about to win this game, though. Yeah, I agree on the Mavs. Like, I just don't think they have enough. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't even make the playoffs again. Like, they might drop to the play-in and lose, but yeah.
You think? Let's look at these standings again, because I mean,
I do think
right now everybody is healthy. I know I said we were going to talk conference later, but all right, we here, so we're going to continue it. So I clicked the wrong thing. All right. So, I mean, there's only 2 undefeated teams remaining in the NBA. That's the C's, who are a legitimate team
Mhm.
in the East. They're not beating the Warriors, but they're a legitimate team. They're a legitimate team for everybody else. And they're in the East, though. And then the other undefeated team are the Mavs. So there's only 2 remaining.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I'm just looking at the teams right now, currently in the standings. You have this. How quickly does this thing update? Because it's annoying me that it doesn't. Let me leave the app and come back in. Okay. Let's see if it's correct now.
Should be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, we second. We
Mhm.
second. I know we're tied, but why is Denver third? It has to be something. Must be about where you are in your division or something like that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we're the same.
They always have a
division
method.
record.
It's the same record, but they always have a method in the ranking to how they end up ultimately listing you.
Yeah, we're the same division record as they do, though. I don't know if we're.
So it's another tiebreaker.
Yeah.
It's another tiebreaker, but it's like some convoluted one that we don't know, so that's okay.
Right.
So, so we're tied.
And the Clippers are 3-1, but they're about they might not lose. They closed the gap. But Clippers, then New Orleans, then OKC.
And all the other teams have see, the West is interesting because the West is where multiple teams only have 1 loss. We're in the East already outside of Sixers. It's 2 losses, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
The East is gazy.
East is mid.
I think the Sixers are going to be a better team than people anticipated.
Yeah, they'll be an amazing team this season. I have a parlay that'll kick in at the end of the season, where it's pretty much Celtics, Sixers, Denver, Warriors. forgot those 4 teams to win 50 games, and I put the Knicks to win 45. But yeah, I think the Sixers are going to be nice, whether they're good in the playoffs or not, or whether they can actually break through in the playoffs and beat one of the Boston or Milwaukee teams. I doubt it, but
I mean, look, I know that Milwaukee will get better. I know that, but I don't think they're doing nothing this year. It's a 1-point game.
Oh wow.
It's 126, 125. They just called a foul though on somebody. I just think that, and you and I have talked about this before, but when you have, I mean, I guess it's not too many pieces. So maybe, excuse me, maybe it's not the best example, but because it's like when you have like multiple pieces like changing in a team, it's just usually hard to just get it together right that first year, which is why the Suns were always in question, and look at what they're dealing with right now. So who knows? But it's only one player for the Bucks, but it's a significant, because even though that player is Dame and he's in a vacuum better than Drew Holiday, he's defensively not what Drew Holiday is. So that team looks different. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, knowing how to play with him and learning. I mean, was more dynamic offense what you think the Bucks needed?
For sure. But in getting that, you send out your only good perimeter defender. Right. Granted, he's one of the best, if not the best perimeter defender in the league. So he covered so many holes for your team. Now, all of those holes are out in the open. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you're in a boat with a hole in it. You plug it in and another hole opens up. Right. So your boat's still sinking, but it's just sinking via a different avenue at this point. So,
Lakers won.
Yeah. So, Lakers won. That's cool. Clippers now have 2 losses. So, but yeah, I
But
think.
again, how many minutes did LeBron play tonight?
I was listening to Real Ones podcast. Shout out to Logan Murdoch and Raja Bell, but Raja Bell was making a point that like there's going to be some point in the season where the Lakers like look pretty good, but the thing is AD is unreliable as far as health and as far as performance, and LeBron is old. So expecting them to be able to start and finish a season at this high level or sustain it for a long period of time is probably not going to happen. And because they're monitoring LeBron's minutes, I think they know as well.
35 minutes tonight, by the way.
35 OT. How many of those do he got in him at this point in a season?
And they needed it. They had to go to overtime, and they needed it. 35, 11, and 7 from LeBron.
Yeah, they absolutely need it.
Oh, he played 42. That was because it's not updating for the overtime. Okay. So he played 42 minutes tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think that's the difference between the Warriors and the Lakers right now.
And that was the Warriors' issue last year.
And that was the Warriors' issue last year. Exactly.
I mean, one of many issues, let's clarify. But like that, there was a lot of wear and tear on their guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so they retired by the time the postseason came.
Mm-hmm. And if last year's league, I think the league last year was a little weird. Like there was really no good teams, like no great teams, at least. If teams were pushing each other last year like they are this year, I think the Lakers last year would have gassed out because they were kind of dead in the water until the trade deadline. And then they were like, wait, all these other teams above us got hella losses. We can actually climb back up. And they got back in it because no other team was creating separation.
Right.
This year, they can't do that. LeBron can't sit all these games and they go 500 and then he comes back and they make a trade and they can just get back into the playoffs. That's not going to happen. So they know like they need to win games. They need to stay above the play-in line. or else they in trouble, right? They're probably gonna make some trades mid-season because their roster is very mid. Um, like people thought the Warriors roster was mid, but clearly they have the deepest roster probably in the league because their starters haven't been great so far, and they're 4-1. Like even Steph was probably this is his worst game of the season so far, probably. 7 turnovers, and guess what? They still won because they got 3-4 other dudes that can give you double-digit scoring, and they got great defense. So not necessarily the case for the Lakers right now. They are struggling without their best players on the court, and that's probably going to continue for them.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to Jokic 1 of 6 from 3 tonight. You know, I gotta keep up in check for purposes of the MVP race.
I'm dead. So yeah, a less than MVP performance from both of those guys. So it's about same as when they went in.
Nah, but I keep making you hop around. So can you finish your boat analogy for the Bucks and just wrap that up? Because I took you
Oh
off of that.
yeah, so the Bucks filled one need while in the process creating another massive need. Right, they don't have any perimeter defense anymore, and they play drop. So when you play drop, um, you're susceptible to pull up shooting at that point. And if you don't have the perimeter defenders that can navigate screens well, put pressure on the ball handler and stuff like that, guys are going to just shoot threes and shoot jumpers on you all day. And if you have a lineup out there where you're only one big, either one Brook or one Giannis, if you pull one of those dudes away from the rim, they do not have the perimeter defenders to stop guys from getting to the cup. So, I mean, I think as of right now, someone said they're like the second worst defense in the league. Obviously, Middleton hasn't played, but can you really bank on Middleton's health at this point? So
Oh,
yeah,
Middleton's been out?
yeah, he's been out. He hasn't
I
played, I
missed
don't think.
that.
Hmm?
He played earlier in the season. When did he go out?
Has he played this season?
I think so.
He's played
Middleton
2
hasn't played
games.
all season?
He's played 2 games, 16 and a half minutes, so he's like barely played.
What happened to him? I didn't even realize that he went out again.
It's always something with him. I don't know what the injury is, but he's out right now. He is, yeah, he's an injury prone guy. But yeah, they absolutely needed half court offense last year. They filled that need with
Yeah.
Dame, but now
And
they
see,
don't got Drew.
that's the thing, because like if you're gonna have Middleton out, y'all can
Who
lean into defense when Drew's there. But if Middleton ain't there, you can't lean into defense with Dame.
Yeah.
And you also, I mean, not that like Middleton's some great defender, but you miss his length.
Yeah, they don't have any wings without him. He's like their only true wing. They got Marjon Beauchamp, but young player, got some talent, but he's not a difference maker really. They got a weirdly constructed roster, and it's just like a lot of the other contenders where it's like you got a really good top 5 or 6, and then after that it's just kind of a bunch of replacement level players that can give you something every now and then. And if one of your main guys is out, you got a huge hole in your roster at that moment, and he's out. On top of the fact that they have no perimeter defense, like their best perimeter defender is what, like Malik Beasley can't guard, Pat Connaughton can't guard. Like Dame definitely can't guard. This is why I picked Boston.
With the Bucks.
And this is definitely why I picked Boston to come out of the East. Like they have way too much perimeter offense for Milwaukee at this point, and then they got enough size inside to make Giannis's life a little bit more difficult. They got Drew Holiday to put on Dame Lillard, so
he's gonna relish it.
Yeah, they got Derek White to put on Damian Lillard as well. Like they are perfectly built to play against this Milwaukee Bucks team as currently constructed. So yeah, they got to figure something out over there. But either way, Golden State's smacking whoever comes out of the East.
I really hope Porzingis remains healthy.
I want all these teams to be healthy.
Yeah, I want everyone to be healthy, but I want him to. So if they do meet up with Boston again, we know Draymond loves the Porzingis matchup, and
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
mhm.
That'll be great. I mean, I think he might get hunted a little bit pick and roll because he's a drop big too. Steph see a drop big, he's not losing to any drop bigs in a series. Like the Warriors, if your primary defense is to play drop coverage and you play Steph Curry in a series, you're losing. That's just facts. And the Celtics and the Bucks both play drop. So yeah, do with that information what you made. But we'll see how Denver guards it because Denver definitely. I mean, Denver likes to hedge and recover, but Jokic ain't quick enough for Steph. So
All right. Well, that's our little look around the league. There's all I know is Golden State is at the top, and they just need to keep it going, right?
mm-hmm.
They need to keep it going. There's the Celtics with the best record in the league, and then or in the Mavs, but we don't count the Mavs. So the Warriors are tied for the third best record in the league.
Well, we're gonna stay up there the whole season.
For sure.
Easy
So
over 55 wins.
I said if this team remains healthy, I mean you're closer to 60 wins. It's just a matter of their health.
For sure. I think we're both in agreement. You already tweeted this is a better roster than 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And that team won 53 games without health. With health, it's a deeper league at this point, right? The teams at the top of the league are a little bit more talented than that year, but they should be able to push 60. It's a little ambitious, but they're clear 50. Whether or not they're closer to 60 or 50 is dependent on health. And games like
Yeah, it's
tonight, where it
totally
can go
health.
either
But
way.
you know what's going to be interesting is if them and Denver are close the whole year. I do think they'll go for it because they're going to prefer to have home court
Mm-hmm.
over having to deal with the altitude. So it could make for a very interesting
MVP race.
MVP, all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be one of those all-time seasons, I think. To be honest, we got so many talented teams with these superstars teamed up. Golden State is looking formidable. Hopefully, all these teams stay healthy, so it's like a race to the finish for seeding, and then the playoffs are going to be great. So yeah, it's looking like it's going to be one of them seasons.
Okay, so the Warriors schedule. Their remaining road schedule includes one back-to-back this weekend. Well, Sunday and Monday. They got OKC, Cleveland, Detroit, Denver.
Cleveland, Detroit's the back-to-back, right?
Yeah.
The James Wiseman revenge game on a back-to-back.
Is he even going to play?
He played tonight. Played tonight. I'm not going to say what happened. I think everybody knows.
Yeah, none of these teams are actually like easy or give me's, but
right.
Warriors are locked in, so
right. So yeah, I do.
Even when they come back from that road trip, it's going to be challenging because from that point on, they have 2 nights off. And then from that point on, even while they have their homestand through the end of the month, they have a game every other night.
I see that. Yep.
From November 11th on. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's one back-to-back. So Cleveland and Minnie both at home. And then from that point, it's every other night through the end of the month.
Mm-hmm. And then they have the whole in-season tournament thing, early December.
So that's why they get a week off?
I'm assuming that's like the thing. I don't really know how that works, though. I think they'll still be playing, though. I don't know. we'll know when we get there. But
It hurts that they're not incentivized to just lose, so they don't take another week off because then that hurts their regular record. Because I'm sure they're like, bro,
I mean, if you Draymond is either getting some money from directly from the NBA or something because he is like all in on this. Like he in all the commercials about it.
yeah,
Like
to see the commercials.
yeah, he's like in on the in season tournament. Like he wants them to win it. He's out there picking who he thinks going to win the other groups and all this type of stuff. So of course he picked the Lakers to pick their group. Funny guy.
I mean, he works for Turner, so
It's true.
Turner is NBA.
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
So
how do
yeah,
we
he's
feel
on
about those road games, though?
the ones that are immediately coming up.
Hmm.
Feeling good. Feeling good. OKC is a good team, but they're a team that's even smaller than Golden State. They got Chet. He's their only big. Everybody else is a wing or a guard. They played Golden State tough last year multiple times, but Steph is there. They got a whole team this year. Yeah, we'll see. But the other two teams, I think Cleveland, Detroit, I'm pretty confident in those games. Um, the Warriors are just a terrible matchup for Cleveland. Like every time, they just play them well. And then Detroit is a young and up and coming team, and it could be sneaky because it's a back to back. But if the Warriors bring their A game, they should blast Detroit. Like they're just not on the Warriors level. And then we'll see what happens with Denver.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, there you have it. A look around the league, a look ahead for the Warriors schedule, and a recap. Boom. You know what I'm saying?
Boom.
And a live watch of two teams who it's a win-win for both of us, whichever one loses. I mean, you can't make this up, right? Anyways. We appreciate y'all tuning in tonight. Dubs are 4-1, baby. 4-1. Great way to start the season, even though they should be 5-0. No, actually, they probably should be 4-1, so it tracks because tonight is a game they should have lost and didn't. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
So they should be 4-1, but we move and we're proud of them. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you are following us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Golden Spaces Pod. Make sure you subscribe to 95.7 The Game's YouTube channel so you will be alerted and get updates the moment we drop an episode. Write us a favorable review. Leave us a 5-star rating. We appreciate y'all so much. And until next time, take care.